So what is so important about telling the story? That is the question that will lead this brief reflection time that we have together this morning. What is so important about telling the story? What is so important that our brothers and sisters, our fellow Christians, throughout the city, throughout our country, throughout the world, are going to be doing the very same thing that we've done here this morning? Some of them in different ways. Some maybe Broadway productions, right? With fabulous costumes, with real animals, live camels, like our brothers and sisters over at Shepherd of the Valley are getting ready to do this week, right? Our own Kelly and Lonnie and little Dylan will play the Holy Family over there this Friday. Other congregations that are maybe a little bit more financially strapped, they might retell the story with the use of bathrobes, right? And sheets. I myself remember wearing one of my father's sort of burnt orange bathrobes with a brown cord tied around my waist and around my head. As I played like Alex and Nikki over here, I was a shepherd once. What is so important about telling the story that we do so again and again and again? Well, I think that brief passage that we read from Isaiah gives us a little bit of insight as to why telling the story is so important. You see, the book of Isaiah was written during a time of political unrest, a time of foreign invaders and crises within the community. Certainly not relevant to anything we're dealing with in our time and in our day and age, is it? So in the midst of all of this, Isaiah writes. And this little passage that I read this morning is actually intended to be sung. It's a portion of Isaiah that was actually written as a two-part song, a melody. It was supposed to be sung very much like one of David's psalms. And the part that we read this morning is the passage that's supposed to be sung together corporately as a people gather. And it's a passage that speaks of New Jerusalem, right? The hope of a new world. A community that sings together of the things that God, Yahweh, had done in the past. And in retelling that story came hope. Hope that God once indeed had been and is with God's people. And that's what Advent is about, is it not? Advent is a time of hope. A time, as we talked about a couple weeks ago in looking at Dickens' Christmas Carol, right? With Ebenezer Scrooge, a time of looking back, a time of looking at the present, and a time of looking forward with hope to a changed future. We hear the same thing in Isaiah this morning. We see the same thing as our children retell the story yet again. As a new generation embraces old stories to look forward to a future hope. I know that's why in my family we know that it's Advent. We know that Christmas is on the way when Mom, right, when Kristen breaks out the CD. We have a CD in our house. It's called Welcome the Child. And as many of you know, I'm a Marty Haugen lover. And Marty Haugen put together this beautiful CD. It's called Welcome the Child. And there is one particular song that we listen to every year. I want to share with you the second verse from that hymn. Some of you may know it. It's called The Carol of the Manger. But it's these words that every Advent, when I hear them, I know that Christmas is coming. I know that we can live again into that new hope. And the words go like this. Once again, we tell the story, how your love for us was shown, when the image of your glory wore an image like our own. Come and lighten with your wisdom. Come and fill us with your grace. May the fire of your compassion kindle every land and race. That is the cry of Advent. Right? That is the proclamation of John. Baptist, who we skipped over this morning, by the way, in case you were wondering. We touched a little bit on John the Baptist last week with Vlad when he was here preaching for us. We skipped over a little bit of it today to hear and to see the story retold. But it's that story that we are called to live into. It's that story that we are called to retell each year, each generation. And Larry touched on that last week, right? When he said, who has been the John the Baptist in your life, and who are you going to be a John the Baptist for? Who are you going to retell the story for? You know, I find it interesting, we often forget, right? John the Baptist grew up with Jesus, yes? Jesus' cousin, right? If we are to believe and trust in the Scriptures. So I always find it interesting, why no John the Baptist? I wonder if maybe we should have, right? A cousin, a John the Baptist. And he might be fidgety. Probably was, right? I mean, in ancient times, John the Baptist might have shown some signs of ADD, perhaps, right? But here was one who was really excited all the time. But maybe we need that image as a part of the story, as a reminder of the one who was always excited to share and to tell the story again and again. And I am thankful that this year we are able to do it again with our children. My friends, as we approach the coming again of the Christ child, may you hear the story again this Christmas. May you hear it anew in your life. May the retelling of the coming of the Christ child kindle in you the fire of God's love. God's love for you and God's love for all of creation. May that fire burn bright within your life as you share the story in your words and in your actions with all those that you come in contact with in your life's